Hello and welcome everyone, this is Dmitry and we are having yet another stream of network programmability. So today we are going to have a third stream about Nornir. We are going to write a connection plugin. In general, just this series of network programmability, it's already our 20th stream and I'm so excited about this. We definitely had more than 20 streams already, but we had some other like side projects like GNet3 utils and if to GNet3 converter. But those I don't count in this series of network programmability lab. So I'm very excited about this. It's 20 stream. So we started back in I think in December, so it's more than half a year now. I do hope that we will get it to 50, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this journey. Okay, so let me start by going through some of announcements / vlog part to get it out of the way, and then start talking about the start doing things that we are supposed to do on the stream. So, couple of announcements. I'm continuing learning JavaScript. So I already told it, I think 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. It's not going fast. It's going slow because I do have my work, and I just returned from my vacation 1 week ago, and I just got totally swamped with work. So I do not have a lot of time to dedicate to something like this, but it's going. I'm moving slowly. I went through most of the JavaScript basics, so all of the all of the typical constructs in the language, like arrays, objects, functions, all that stuff, and obviously they're like methods, and how the syntax of the language looks like. I still have so much stuff to do to be proficient in it, but I wanted to touch a couple of things that I noticed while I was learning it. Since I do have solid Python background, it's more than 6 years now. I wanted to touch some things that kind of like surprised me, or I found good or bad in JavaScript compared to Python. So one of those things is const let statement. So this is how you define the variables, either constant or they just non-constant variable using let. I do believe this is a very good thing. I miss that in Python quite a lot. I really would like to explicitly define my variables, especially if I have something like a constant. To make sure that I don't reassign it anywhere else. And the same goes to like scoping of the variable, like with let statement, they are like scoped to the block. Every so often in Python, I may assign something in the loop, but then later I have a different loop or something like this where I have the same variable name, and sometimes it shadows the previous assignment and you get unexpected results. So I do really like this explicit const let statement. Unfortunately, this is the only thing that I found so far in JavaScript that I really like. So there are a couple of things that was WTF for me. So the first thing was anonymous functions and callbacks. So it seems like JavaScript is really a callback hell, and they do really love JavaScript programmers, at least from what I have seen, examples that I have seen, do like to use anonymous functions. So anonymous functions are functions without a name, which are defined in line. The equivalent of those is something like lambda in Python, though in a lambda allows you to do only single line expressions, and in JavaScript you can have as many lines as you want. So people do use them everywhere, So like, you know, you need to your function take some other function, and instead of defining it somewhere else, just people tend to use these anonymous functions. This is something I'm not, well, I can't say like it's so bad, but it doesn't feel well with me. It doesn't sit well with me, unfortunately. So every so often you can see like chains of anonymous functions called in the like on the same line or something, in the same statement. Let's put it this way. Another one that got me surprised is the lack of like true dictionary like you have in Python. They do have objects where the syntax is kind of like Python dictionary, where you can assign keys and values, but they're kind of different. Like in Python you have very specific methods that are available to dictionaries, like you have method get, you have default dict, you have update. As far as I know, there isn't something like this in JavaScript, or maybe I haven't got to that part yet. The like objects feels like something in between dictionaries and classes, where you can kind of assign functions for your object. So far I don't really like it. I really like dictionaries in Python because they serve explicit purpose where you have to do some kind of lookup based on the key, and you can easily update and, you know, update it and retrieve values, retrieve default values, whatever you want. Another one that got me surprising, and I see guys your comments, I will get back to them just right after I finish this section. So another one that got me surprising is absence of strict checking of number of arguments that are passed to the function. So if your signature, if your function accepts 3 variables, you can pass 2 variables to your function call, and all the ones that were not assigned will be assigned undefined, instead of like throwing runtime error. Again, this is something that I totally not expected. It got me so confusing, and well, actually lack of a lot of runtime exceptions. Again, this is something that doesn't sit well with me, unfortunately. And the last thing is the whole framework. Well, I'm not going to go into framework debate or something like this, but right now it seems like there are 2 most popular JavaScript frameworks for doing front end, which is one of them is React, another one is Vue.js. So I will probably learn Vue instead of React. This is my personal preference that I picked, and I don't want to like change anymore. I had enough articles that I read about the differences. I don't want to do that anymore. But what I wanted to say here is that even for me, a person who already has a solid programming experience, well, at least I would like to think so, I am kind of torn when I look on examples of Vue or React, that I'm so far from getting to that point, and it's kind of frustrating to me. Like right now in my learning journey, I'm covered most of the basics of JavaScript, majority of typical syntax and syntactical triggers that is there in the language, and I feel like I am so far from getting to the point where I can write something in Vue or React, and this is super frustrating. Like I'm still like months away, so kind of like, I don't know, like just frustrating, but we'll get there. Unfortunately, I do have to do some kind of some kind of front-end work, some kind of front-end tasks at my work. So yeah, I will have to learn something like that. Okay, let me go quickly through the comments before I jump to the next point. Let me see. Okay. Hello, Quentin. Thank you very much. You have finished your stream already? JavaScript callbacks are pain in the ass because you lose the scope of the scalar in the callback. Yeah, I had very similar thoughts. Like, you can get lost so fast if you have a chain of callbacks. Yeah. Nice. It's nice to see you here on my stream now. Also, so much has changed in JavaScript, and yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah. I do have to point out though, I'm right now learning. I'm trying to learn like modern JavaScript. So I look up like fat error syntax. I look up the template. How's that called? Template strings. And some other stuff. I try to stay up to date in this journey with all of the modern stuff, with at least ES6 or ES7, ECMAScript 6 or 7. And I do have to tell you that the syntax, well, there are some features that ease your life, because I remember myself trying to learn JavaScript back in the days, maybe like, I don't know, 2 years ago when ES6 was not so popular yet. And it was super painful, like without stuff like templates strings, where when you have to have some string and you have some variables and you have to mix them, you have to use plus operator. I honestly think this is the ugliest thing I can be in the language. Like, Python had dot format string forever, like since, I don't know, Python 2.7, like more than 15 years now. And in Python like 3.6 there are also f strings which takes that to even next level. In ES5, I think in ES5 there wasn't the syntax with template strings where you can mix string and variables in the same kind of like string, which was super frustrating. So right now it seems like syntax is getting there, and it's much more pleasant to write code in it, but still not, for me, not as pleasant as writing Python code. Stealth Hacker is also saying, also hard to keep up with all libraries. Back in the days it was just jQuery. Yes, I do agree with you. That's why I personally picked Vue.js after reading, maybe like 10 different articles, and I don't want to kind of like follow what is happening in all other frameworks like Angular and Ember and React. Like, I don't like, I chose my warrior, and I'm going to stick with this unless it's going to die with a horrible death. So yeah, this is my JavaScript journey so far. A couple of other things. So recently I stumbled upon this YouTube channel, and his nickname is Soviet Womble. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it or not. And he likes to produce funny content, and he has this series called Bullshittery. It's mostly about games and, well, interacting with other people. Let's put it this way. He has also very specific style how he does videos. He uses subtitles a lot, but they are so funny, at least for me. Like, whenever I watch his videos, I'm laughing, and I really haven't stumbled upon a channel like that makes me laugh so much. So if you kind of like do play games occasionally, and you know what can happen in like TeamSpeak or Discord if you play games with your friends, I definitely recommend going to this channel and watching some of his popular videos like CSGO bullshittery. Like literally when I feel bad or exhausted in the evening, I just turn on one of his videos, and makes me happy. Makes me happier, let's put it this way. Though I have to warn you that it's not safe for work. You know, there is like swearing and some other stuff. So yeah, just letting you know, guys. And the last thing for today, for announcements, which is OpenAI 5. So OpenAI, let me give you like brief history. OpenAI is a bot developed by what is the name of the company? I forgot. There is this company that is funded by Elon Musk. They are doing all of the AI and the machine learning stuff. So one of the things that they are working on, kind of like as a proof of concept, is OpenAI, which is Dota 2 bot. So whenever I teach anything machine learning related, one of the examples that I give is OpenAI. Last year there was a tournament. Well, every year there is a Dota 2, and Dota 2, by the way, it's a video game. There is a tournament with a lot of money for first, second, and third place. And last year there was this bot which was competing with some of the top players, 1 versus 1. The game itself is 5 versus 5, and the bot just destroyed the human players. Like there was no chance for people to beat it, at least live. So this year they took it to the next level. They designed OpenAI 5, which is a version of 5 versus 5 bot. So this year, and by the way, the Dota 2 tournament, which is called the International, is going to be held in a couple of weeks, I guess, in Seattle, I guess, by Valve. And today there is going to be a live stream of the game between the bot and the team of 5 former professional players. Even though I don't play Dota 2 for, I don't know, I played it maybe 5 years ago, I don't play it anymore. I'm really curious and really excited to see this match. I'm curious if humans have any chance against machine learning. And so the stream is going to be right after my stream at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. So I will end around 12:15 or 12. Right after my stream there is going to be this live stream. So I do encourage you guys, if you're kind of like into machine learning or curious about machine learning, to see this match, to understand what kind of decisions a bot is taking in different situations. I'm really curious. If I would be betting money, I would put them on bot. I don't think humans will win this, but we'll see. There will be obviously commentary and all of that stuff. So I guess even for people who are not super familiar with Dota 2, it should be you will probably not be lost. But it really depends on the commentary. Joshua Bengio, one of the founding fathers of deep learning movement. This guy is awesome. Unfortunately, I haven't heard about him. My personal my person that I look up to in machine learning is Andrew Ng, the one who was teaching at Stanford and now runs machine learning, all of machine learning related stuff at Baidu. Yeah, this is my person I look up to. Okay, so with all of the announcements out of the way, let's get into the today's topic, which is writing new connection plugins for Nornir. So we already had 2 streams before about Nornir. We had the first exploration stream where I was going through the tutorial and stuff, and we had the last stream where I was migrating my Ansible project to Nornir. We also had another one which was on Python type checking, but it was really not about Nornir, it was about Python type checking really, so I don't really count that. Today we are going to write a new connection plugins for Nornir. So by default Nornir ships a couple of plugins. They ship Napalm plugin and NetMiko plugin. And well, that is pretty much it. NetMiko and Napalm, yeah. So for stuff that I am doing at work, I need something else. I need NetConf plugin and I need VMware plugin. So to be able to interact with network devices via NetConf and to be able to interact with virtual machines, power groups and all that stuff in ESXi. So today we are going to see how we can do that in Nornir. So we are going to write our own custom plugins, and there are a couple of issues open for that. So in Nornir bug tracker there is this bug, well, kind of like feature request, NetConf connection plugin and VMware ESXi connection plugin that were opened by me. So we are going to write them, and potentially we'll submit PR live, but I am not so sure we'll get to that point. So what are we going to use? So obviously we can't do that from scratch. It doesn't make any sense. There are already libraries doing NetConf with Python or interacting with VMware in Python. So for NetConf we are going to use a library called NC client, and for VMware we are going to use PyVM-OMI, whatever it is pronounced. I do have to point out though that anytime I have to use PyVM-OMI, I feel bad and sad. Honestly, I think their API is just horrible, but at least it works and you can get your stuff done with it, so that's a good sign. NetConf though has pretty straightforward API, at least the basic API is pretty straightforward. So I think I'm going to start with NetConf today. I also kind of like, since I am contributing to Nornir, well, I'm trying to on constant basis, I am more or less familiar with the code base of Nornir, and I know what kind of changes were done, and so there is going to be release 2.0 sometime in the future. I don't know when. We didn't really discuss that with David and Kirk and Patrick, but there are a lot of changes that are going to be there. One of them is about how we are handling connections. Previously it wasn't so clear. There was like separate tasks to do that. Now there is going to be a very specific way how you write your custom plugin, how you can reuse it, and how And what Nornir will do for you, it will be able to close connections automatically, which I think is a very good thing. So by writing your code correctly with something like context manager, regardless of the number of the device you are interacting with, Nornir will be able at the end to close all of the existing connections, which I think is pretty cool. So we were doing a lot of refactoring. When I say we, David was doing most of the work and I was just critiquing all the stuff. So yeah, this results in me being familiar with code base, with changes that were done. So yeah, I have some advantage, let's put it this way, since I know the code base. However, so I don't think it's going to be extremely difficult. Well, famous last words, right? It's not going to take a lot of time, and then you five hours later you still can't get past to like some simple point. There is one thing though that kind of concerns me, which is testing. So as any other open source project, that unit tests are important thing in any open source project. I personally am not good with testing, even though I program in Python for years and I know Python, well, I think quite well. I am horrible with testing. I think it kind of comes from the point where most of my projects are 1 or 2 man projects, and where kind of like the whole result depends on me, and I didn't put a lot of time and effort into learning how you do proper testing with Python. This is kind of like changing right now since I'm more involved into open source, and I'm paying more attention to code quality. So you have seen me before. I'm doing static types in Python now and stuff like that. But still, with testing, I'm kind of weak. I'm learning. I kind of have an idea how you usually do unit testing. However, with these connection plugins, I am totally lost. Let's put it this way. Like David, and by the way, when you say me mentioning David is David Barroso, the main creator of Napalm and Nornir as well. David gave me an example, but I still kind of like didn't understand it well, how you do testing for your connection plugin. Since you will have to mock the object that is returned by connection, I don't think this part is going to be easy. Writing connection plugin itself is going to be not hard. So, but we'll see. We'll get right into it. We'll try to do something. If our testing doesn't work, I will involve later David to help me out with that. At least we'll get the functionality itself working. Okay, enough talking. Let's actually write some code. Let me know, guys, if you have any comments or questions. Also, let me know if you're going to watch OpenAI stream later tonight, and if you were to put money, would you put money on humans or on this bot? Very curious to see your responses. Okay, so where do we start? So I have my usual lab server, but I don't think we are going to need it today. I have my lab server called Sapphire, and I have one of CSRs that is running, I think, that is running 16.8.1a. And this CSR I'm going to use for all of my NETCONF testing, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, we are going to use a CSR for NETCONF part. For ESXi part, I do have an access to one ESXi server, but there are some challenges associated there, so we'll see. Okay, So where do we start? Well, first of all, I think that we have to create a new branch. Okay, so just before the stream, I did git pull for the branch 2.0 because this is where majority of new functionality resides right now. So I have that. And well, I'm going to create a new branch. Let me see what branches I have right now. Git branch -v. Okay, so let's create a new branch from 2.0 branch. So this way, let's see git status. It's alright. Your branch is up to date with upstream 2.0. Okay, great. So git checkout -b -b netconf. Switched to a branch netconf. Okay, so we are good to go here. Now, there is one other part. Well, I'm going to use this sandbox folder to kind of like run my code. I forgot what virtual environment I'm using. I think I'm using pipenv. Let me see. So pipenv run Python. And by the way, oh yes, this is another part. I am migrating from pipenv to either piptools or poetry, but I haven't really made my decision yet. But this project was already running with pipenv, so I'm using pipenv here. Okay, I have to check that it's using correct code. Let me think. I think I'm going to do that by checking if the filter object is available. So from Nornir core filter import f. Okay, this works. Let's also see import Nornir, and let's say Nornir Thunder version Thunder. This part doesn't look good. Yes, this looks bad. Because here I have 2.0, why it's saying to me that it's 1.1.0. Okay. I have to then check if I have connections, and I have connection plugin ABC. So from Nornir core connections, import connection plugin. Okay, and well, this seems to import just fine. Okay. Okay, we will start doing that. Start working on our plugin. If it doesn't work at some point, well, I will then deal with this later, and I will recreate virtual environment or whatever it takes. So let me kind of like walk you through how you would need to do that. Okay. So after discussion, we came up with this well, kind of like workflow or framework. So we created this class called connection plugin, which inherits from ABC, and ABC is abstract class in Python. And the idea behind it is that you provide the methods that your okay, let me start from the beginning. So This connection plugin is abstract class. What does this really mean? What is the idea behind it? The idea behind it is that for your plugins, they have to inherit from connection plugin. However, using abstract class, you can enforce what kind of methods or properties your class must have in order to be able to inherit and create objects successfully. So here we define with a special decorator add abstract method. Using this decorator, you are marking that you must, in your inherited class, you must implement method open and method close. Okay, this is a kind of like very high level overview of abstract class. You enforce some kind of implementation detail on your class if you inherit from it. And the reason why we had to do it is once you have this kind of plugin, custom plugin, and it has methods open and close, and those can call underlying library methods like, well, some libraries have disconnect, some libraries have quit, and so on and so forth. So you have to kind of specify this underlying library call. But once you do that, using context manager, Nornir can have knowledge how to close connections, and it can close connections for you. So this is super important. Why use slot magic method? Good question. So I'm actually not, for my stuff, I haven't used slots before. I do know briefly the idea behind them, and there is a good Stack Overflow answer about slots. Basically, with slots, you have a different implementation how your how your attributes are stored. So, and if there are, you can't define the new attributes. There are some other restrictions when you use slots. However, if you do that, your memory consumption, I think it drops down like it's 2 times slower if you don't use slots, and access to your attributes is faster as well. So basically it's about performance. There are some restrictions if you use slots, like you can't really do duck typing anymore, as far as I remember, and there are some other inheritance things that you can't use. I think you can't inherit from like 2 classes or something like this, some weird stuff. Basically, it's a brief answer to this is that it makes your code run faster because it changes. Well, if you don't use slots, what is happening is that Python creates a dictionary where it stores all of the attributes and their values. With slots, the dictionary is not used. So yeah, memory allocation is different and underlying structure is different. If you want to learn more about slots, basically the only thing you have to do is go to Google. Let me close those. And basically say Python slots. And the second answer, the second link will be about slots. And basically there is also TLDR, faster attribute access and space savings in memories. And it explains in more details and with tests and blah 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 blah. So yeah, just read this if you are interested in that. So it's definitely something that you would want to use in big programs where you have a lot of objects, since you will dramatically decrease usage, memory usage, and it will be just faster. I hope this answers your question. Okay, so let's go back. So if you really think about this, okay, the creating your own plugin is goddamn easy. Like, it's super easy. You have to inherit from connection plugin, and you have to implement open, and you have to implement close. Done. Okay. Testing though will become more complicated, at least from my perspective, but we'll see. So I do think that besides implementing just connection plugin, I'm also going to create some plugins, some plugins that uses connection plugin. Okay, for example, there is connection plugin NetMiko. Okay, you see it's like really like 5 lines of code, not so well, and there is this mapping, not so much, right? But then there are also tasks and networking, and let's say send command here, and this send command will actually use that plugin. Okay, so the first thing that this task send command is doing, it's getting the connection called NetMiko, and then it runs some command. Basically, that's pretty much it. So even this part is not hard. So probably the most difficult part, if you are trying to do this on your own, is figure out what exactly you have to put there. It's usually not about how complicated it is. It's about how good it is documented, and so on and so forth. So, okay, let's get started. We were debating what would be the best way to register your plugins. I did have an idea, but it's not implemented yet, so we are going to park that for a moment. We'll have to find you'll have to find one thing. So currently there are registration built into the library, and I have to find it, and I have no idea where it is located. I think somewhere here. Sagar Devil, thank you very much for following. I can't find it though. I think it's in plugin connections init. Yeah, it's right here. So right now we just have a dictionary where you have to add kind of plugin name and your handler. Okay, so let's actually get started. Let's get started with the creating our new file. We will create the file called netconf.py, and let me also turn on the light here in the room. Okay, so we have a new file. Let's just go ahead and register it as well. So we will need to say netconf, and then let's see, I'm thinking if I should name it NC client or netconf as well. Actually, by naming NC client I may have problems, but actually I will name it NC client, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm debating. I mean, from one perspective, we would like not to like log this to a particular library. From another perspective, there is no other library that is doing netconf right now in Python, so you just stick with netconf, I guess. Okay. So we have that. Now, let's do this. I'm going to take NetMiko and just copy paste the whole stuff. And then we are going to do some changes. Okay. Well, first of all, there is napalm to NetMiko map. Okay. So what this is doing is that currently we are also debating about this as well. Well, you have an attribute called NOS, Network Operating System, and operating system here, str. And there is a list like IS, Nexus, COS, but usually in underlying libraries, they use it. They are named a little bit differently. For example, in Nornir you have an operating system called network operating system called iOS, but NetMiko uses Cisco_IS. Okay, so there is this disconnect. I honestly I don't like these mappings at all. Again, there's another issue for this, but for now we'll have to figure it out. Let's just have this. Let's have, since it's constant, just have NOS mapping. We will have to go to NC client, Python, and find the list of supported params. Okay. Cisco for some reason CSR is different. I don't understand this. IS can be ISXC, ISXR. Let me do this. So if it's iOS, we are going to map this to ISXC. And since right now I have only ISXC, I'm going to just leave it like this. Okay. This plugin connects to the device using NC client library and sets relevant connection. Inventory, NetMiko options, maps to arguments passed to connect handler, Nornir, network SSH port. I don't need this. I think I'm going to remove this port as well. Parameter is hostname, username, password. Okay, let me see how you have to pass it in NC client. Okay, so from with manager connect host port. So host port, username, where is password? Host username, host key verify, device params. Okay. I'm pretty sure it supports just password. You can go ahead and check this. So it should be manager, connect, This is not helpful. connect SSH. I'm pretty sure password is supported operation, well, supported argument. The reason I deleted the port is, well, this is not SSH port, so it should be kind of like network API port, but we're also debating this if we need to have something like this. So for now, just remove it. We'll assume that default port is used. If NOS is not known. Okay, so this part is important. So if NOS is not known, we have to map this to device params, and it should be a separate dictionary. Wow. Okay. So if NOS is not known, device type we don't need this. Name is equal to NOS. Okay, so be name. And now we have NOS mapping get, and then NOS. Okay, this works. And then, well, you know what, pretty much I will just do this. Okay, so if not is not none, okay, this part looks good. Here we are saying, well, if you pass connection options, which you can pass from outside, we will assign this netmic connection args. Let's do this. Connection params. Let's just say like this. Connection params. Okay. This looks good to me. So, okay, and we'll do one additional thing. So if no, we don't need to do that. I was thinking about default argument. Okay, so there is also this name default, but I think it is by default, so I don't have to specify that. I do hope so. You just leave it like this. So connection params, update parameters, self connection, connect handler. Okay, so this is also going to change. We will need to, well, first of all, we'll have to say pipenv install --dev in C client. And as always, pipenv is super slow, but okay. Meanwhile, I can refer to documentation, so I have to say from NC client manager, import manager, manager connect. Okay, so from NC client import manager, and this is going to be manager.connect connection params. Okay, this looks good. Okay, there's one additional thing that we need to do. We have to find how to properly close connection. So here's self connection. NetMiko uses disconnect. I'm not sure this one is using disconnect as well. Okay, so connect uses function connect SSH. Connect SSH is returning, well, it seems the session clause manager sessions device handler. Okay, where is the manager here? Class manager. Enter returning self, and exit is a returning self close session. Okay. Damn it, I don't see here a close connection. So here Dunder exit says self close session, dev close session. There isn't a function like this. So where the hell is that? Is it here in OpenExecutor? Okay, so it's in OpenExecutor. Class OpenExecutor, some magic, it's taking operations, and there is close session. And which calls operation close session. Wow, too much magic. Okay, so I think correct one will be close session. Okay. First Hammer, hello, how are you doing, sir? And you know what? I just noticed it would be great to have proper naming here. This will be NETCONF. Okay, that's pretty much it for writing a connection plugin. Not really much going on here. So, but this part was just plugin, okay? And now we have to, as a proof of concept, implement a couple of tasks, networking tasks that actually use this plugin. I'm kind of like looking through if I didn't miss anything. So it seems fine to me. Let's see here anything that caught my eye. Okay, let me also see if... What the hell? Your dependencies could not be resolved. You likely have a mismatch in your sub-dependencies. Are you kidding me? Can you pip and install skip log? Could not find a version that matches a plugin. Nice first hammer. That's awesome. Actually, for one of my projects, I will need to interact with ASA REST API at least once. We want to be able to automatically renew. Let's Encrypt certificates for any connect. And I was thinking that I could use REST API to upload this certificate directly to ASA. So you kind of like run just a shell command or something via cron that renews Let's Encrypt certificate every 2 months or so, it's a wildcard certificate. So once you do that, you then go ahead, take this new generated certificate and upload this to ASA. We are having ASA X. We are having the physical ASA for this lab, but I don't think it's going to matter. Obviously, when I will be doing POC and trying to check that stuff, I'm going to do it on virtual ASA. Okay, so parameters host username password. If NOS is not known, we're also getting the device params here. Okay, this looks good. Now there is one part that bothers me, kind of. With this kind of approach, whatever you pass in connection options is overwritten by these params. So I'm not sure why it is implemented this way in NetMiko, but I have doubts about this approach. If I'm passing connection options explicitly, I would love to, whatever I put there takes precedence, I guess. Damn it, no. I have to check how interaction between connection plugin and tasks is done. Thank you for advice, First Hammer. I will definitely check out built-in docs in ASA. Okay, so if I'm doing netmika send command, it uses task host get connection. So we have to figure out what kind of magic is done here under get connection. So this should be here, get connection. So get connection, the only thing you pass is a str. Okay, fine. So you just you pass, you know what, and let me also open like a text editor or something. So code dot excuse me. Okay, so the whole interaction is done using this. So this returns netmiko class, okay, with all operations. Now we have to figure out what is happening here in get connection. So get connection is using only variable for this is a string, so you just pass a name here. In our case it will be something like NETCONF. So we are saying if there is no connection, I am going to create a new connection. For this I'm going to pass connection name, and those are our local stuff, so self-host, self-username, self-password. Okay, this part makes sense, but Okay, this part is part of the inventory itself. And this part as well. So all of this is a part of inventory itself. But you also can say get connection option. So this one will say, okay, if your connection is called NetMiko connection, if your plugin is called NetMiko, then we're looking for NetMiko options. And for me, it must take precedence over default stuff. So let me go back to my text editor here. So imagine you have a host, right? So you have a host, let's say, and I can smell some smoke, but I think it's from outside. Okay, so you have a switch one, right? And you have here like Nornir username, let's say admin, and you have Nornir password admin. Okay, now you also have host. Okay, you have, I think it's called Nornir host 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 IP addresses for architects. Okay, you can also have something like NetMiko options. Okay, and here you can pass any other parameters that are used by NetMiko. And my understanding is that they must override whatever is specified here. For example, you may specify terminal service. So you say device type is I think it's terminal server. Excuse me, guys, didn't sleep a lot tonight. But maybe you also have like host, right? So you may access some other host for, well, IP address of your terminal server. So my understanding is that this must definitely override this. So yeah, I'm going to change this a little bit, because current implementation of NetMiko plugin, if you look here, what we are saying is that, well, if you pass connection options, I'm going to assign these options, otherwise it will be an empty dictionary. Then I'm going to update parameters, and these parameters are here. So actually you will be overwriting whatever is specified here, which actually is not our intent. So how to fix this? Well, we actually have to start with this dictionary first. So I think we need to do this. And this is obviously wrong file. We have to do it for NetConf. So let's do connection params is here. So we're starting by defining these connection params. Okay, we are saying if nos is not none, we are going to say connection params this. Okay, now we can just I have to check something. So pipenv run python So let's say dictionary is this, and then a update none. I think it will crash on me. Yeah, so we will have to say connection options is equal connection options. Well, I usually like to be more explicit. If connection options is none, then I'm going to assign an empty dictionary. Okay, and then the last piece is that we have to now update not parameters, but we have to say connection options. Okay, makes total sense to me now. Yeah. Okay, connection params, our parameters, host username, password. If nos is not none, we are adding device params dictionary. If we have connection types is none, we are creating an empty dictionary, and we update existing dictionary with connection options, overwriting those. Okay, this looks good to me. I do believe this is supposed to work. Yeah, I think NetConf 1 is pretty much done here. Okay, so now we have to create a couple of functions. We have to create a function, let's say called, well, let's start with a very simple one called getConfig. Okay, so NetConf getConfig. UI. Okay, let's take this example from NetMiko and again copy paste it, and then change this a little bit. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say connection. We'll have general one, so that, well, when you copy pasting these kind of like functions, you can pretty much reuse majority stuff. Right now we are going to remove all docstring. We may need to command string, no. Okay, let's go to the NetConf signature, and let's see what we have to, what we can provide. Okay, so there's operations, get config, from NC client import operations. Here from NC client operations, retrieve, okay, retrieve, get config here, RPC, request self source filter with defaults none. Okay, you would need to re-implement these variables though. Source filter none with defaults. I think you would need to copy the whole signature with defaults none. Defines an explicit method of retrieving default variables from configuration. have to think this through. So one way would be to copy this part and re-implement it here. Okay, this is one way, and this should be netconf get config source filter with defaults. So this is one way. However, there is one thing that I don't like with this approach. Imagine that tomorrow there is a new version of NC client and there is some new parameter in get config. Okay? These parameters are hard-coded in the task, and I can't really control anymore. Yeah, I think I am going to do what was done here. I'm going to all the parameters that are not mandatory will go under keyword arguments. Connection task host get connection netconf result connection connection get config. We are going to say source is equal to source, and then we are going to pass keyword arguments. Then result host is equal to task host, result is equal to result. Yeah, I guess this is pretty much it here. There is not a lot of going on. So retrieves configuration using netconf get config operation. Uses NC client library as a backend. Arguments source data store which is running startup candidate keyword arguments, any other arguments supported by NC client manager get config. Okay, this looks good to me. Would need also to specify returns result I will just say result object. Okay, good. So we have this. Now we can actually go ahead and test it. This should be working. This should be working. Okay, so I do have here this folder called sandbox, where I can kind of like test my scripts directly in the same directory. There's one additional piece that is important. We had some problems with NC client installation. I have to check if it is installed. So let's say pipenv run pip freeze grep net mico. No, grep NC client. Okay, NC client is installed. Additional thing, I want to check what is the latest version. 060. Okay, cool. Okay, so that part seems to be fine. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to create our hosts. Actually, we already have, but I actually need to use something else. I need to create an additional one. I need to say Nornir host, and I have to specify an IP address. And I honestly don't remember an IP address for this guy. Show up in brief. I think it's 10. This one. Okay. Nornir username. I think those are Cisco. Yeah, so those are Cisco. We don't need this device as part of any group. We need Nornir nos though. We need to specify that this is iOS. Perfect. So we have CSR minus dev. It's right here. Config number of workers. Right now we will have one. Doesn't really matter. Okay, simple inventory, good. Groups are specified, great. Nornir log test YAML. Let me delete this file, it's useless. Have firepower 2110 appliances can't use REST API name. I don't have a lot of exposure with firepower, but are you sure there is no API? Running ASA. Oh, okay. Running ASA, not FTD. Okay. I am pretty sure. Well, I don't. Just disclaimer. I don't know a lot about firewalls. But I'm pretty sure there is FMC API. I'm not sure if you can run ASA on 2110 and be managed by FMC. I don't know, but I know that a colleague of mine is actually developed a library to use FMC API with Python. It's legacy, say like 5510, 5512, 5520 that doesn't have REST API. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure FMC has API because just my colleague from the team was writing in Python wrapper for the API. Okay, so let's just try running. You know what? Let me do one additional thing. I'm going to say from NC client import manager just to make sure that I can do that. And then we are going to run it. So pipenv run sandbox. run sandbox main py. Okay, yes, it should be Python. NetConf is not defined. What do you mean NetConf is not defined? Let me see. Oh, okay. No, I see it now. So from NetConf, import NetConf. Okay. So this should work. No such file or directory. Config YAML. What is going on here? Oh, yes, I forgot. Right, since I'm running from different directory, we'll not be able to open config YAML from here. We'll actually, yeah, I have config YAML, but it's nested. So I need to actually cd into this directory, then rerun the script again. Now this should work. Okay, I have my hosts. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So, okay, good. So this part is working. And I lost my script. Okay, it's right here. I will move it here to the left. And you see, by the way, how I use this, right? I use this init Nornir. We actually will go ahead and move it under the main function. And then if underscore underscore name is equal to under main. Okay, so I'm using it like this. So even if there is some kind of exception is happening here, using context manager, it will go ahead and try to close all open connections. This is why we were doing the change that we are doing right now for 2.0. Okay, so I can print my hosts. This is not important. Now I need to pull up an example because I keep forgetting stuff. Nornir example. Okay, and our init Nornir result. Okay, first we have to filter our devices. We have to select just specific device. So we have to say from Nornir core filter import f. Okay, now we are saying here in our filter in name is going to be equal CSR underscore def, and if everything goes correctly, then I should be able to print the data of this CSR. Let's do items. What is going on? I think something happened with my music, or no? No, it's alright. Okay, so inventory host init data from object failed host. Something is not right here. Self data is equal to empty dictionary. Self data name is wow. Something is not right. I don't see it right now though. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, because this is Nornir object. This is not a host. This is a Nornir object. So in order to be able to see, I have to say inventory hosts. I need to select CSR and for now let's do this. Hosts and CSR underscore dev data. This should work. Key error. CSR dev is not found. Wow. Of course, because it's hyphen. It's just let me do a couple of face palms. Would be cool if there were more under wrapper methods. I agree with you. Actually, you know what? Side note. Open an issue to add wrapper everywhere. Okay, good. So and I just closed my file. Okay, so I should be able to do this. Oh, and I'm still didn't do it correctly. F. Okay, so now my inventory contains this. Now my data for this device is this. Okay, this looks much better. Okay, so now let me refer back to blog post. So it's we also need to import this, and we also need to say from Nornir plugins network functions network plugin function plugin tasks networking import NetConf get config import NetConf get config. This one also bothers me. So there is an import directly from the top level. Okay. This means that in the no, not here. Yeah, so I have to add it here as well. I want to check something, by the way. Python import all objects in every file. I'm not sure this will work. Pretty sure it will not work. It actually worked just fine. Let me check additional things. So ppn from Python and yeah, this looks well. This is also another piece that I have kind of mixed feeling. Maybe we will also need some kind of registration mechanism here. I don't know yet. But okay, let's just leave it from .import star. We do have dunder all, so should be fine. Actually, no. If we are having from .import star, no, it will be still fine, because when I'm doing let me try from tasks import networking. I would like to see what is available in this namespace. So dear networking, well, all of this is the same functions. Yeah, this works actually well. You see now this networking module doesn't list NETCONF, even though I have here from .import star, this one is hidden. So okay, this works. I think we can actually just go ahead and remove all of this part. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and finish our function. Result is going to be equal to CSR def run task. Well, task will be netconf get config. Let me find another blog article. I always forget this stuff. Always have to look it up. Okay, not here, not here. This one, no. Run task configuration. Okay, good. So napalm this will be like this. So source will be running, and then I have to say print result. Okay. Whew. I really hope this will work. Module object is not callable. Does Cisco CSR have config sessions so you can stage config diff rollback? So are you asking for NetConf or in general? In general, no. In general, there is no candidate config, so there are no commits on ISXE. There is on ISXR. Module object is not callable. You know what, guys? I think I'm an idiot. Now I see the problem now. Damn it. Yeah. Okay, this will work. On ISXE there is also no commits. ISXE is basically IIS but running is running as a process, I would say. There is more interaction with Linux kernel. So no. Okay, something is happening and we got our result back. Isn't this awesome? Okay, since I don't care about this stuff, let me see if there is like pretty print XML, Python pretty print XML. If there is one standard library that I absolutely dislike, this library is called XML. Okay, so pretty XML is equal to pretty XML is equal to, and just give me 1 second, minidom what is going on? I thought XML is standard library, is it not? Yeah, it's standard library. Import XML DOM mini DOM. So why is this thing is saying unresolved reference? Oh, right, from XML DOM import mini DOM. Yeah. So this is going to be parse string result, and then to pretty XML. Okay, and now you just print XML. Okay, let's do this again. Aggregated object has no attribute result. Yes, correct. I forgot something. It should be no. Data result. No, it's easier to go through source. So it should be, I think, task aggregated result init failed. It's basically a dict-like object that aggregates results for all devices. You can access individual results by doing my aggregate result. Right, so this should be result CSR dev, should be like this. Iter items, what's up? What do you mean? I'm not 100% sure I understood. Bytes like object is required, not get reply. What? Oh, damn it. Yes, I forgot, because this one, the result that you get from getConfig is get reply object. Like, I'm going to change just the plugin. I use either interactive Python or integrate the following in your code. I'm going to do the following. Okay, so now we have result, result class, get reply dear on result. result, no, okay, result dot okay, true, result dot xml, type. Okay, what else is there? Okay, XML parse. Let's do result parse. It's not IPython prompt. So result.error, none, errors, empty list, data XML, and XML. I want to see result data underscore XML. Let's take first 200 symbols and just XML. Okay, so data XML actually extracts the part from I really have to think this through. So like to build a proper API here, from one perspective I just want an XML, but you don't want to parse it manually. We want to at least know if there was an error. There is also method parse. Which doesn't do anything. I'm thinking that what I really need is two things. I need data XML and I need an error. Yeah, I think this is what I need. So we need to change API a little bit. Okay, so we have to here change this a little bit. First, as a result, I need to look on this result object. Result none changed false, div failed false. Okay, so this one we can set. We can set failed if it failed or not, exception, uncaught exception thrown during execution. I have really mixed feelings about this. From one perspective, I don't want the user to restrict the user to be able to access like .error or something, right? I mean, if I just give back the data XML, maybe he wants to know what is error, right? So I don't want to hide it. I want to API to be complete. So I think I'm going to leave this as it was implemented before. However, I'm going to say failed is equal to not result.ok. Or I think like this. Depends from a Python actually not. Okay, good. Okay, so I will leave this like this. Okay. Okay, this is much better. All config available on the device. I'm interested about these network instances because it seems like this is represented right now as network instance. This is represented right now as openconfig model. Interesting. I actually haven't seen this before. Maybe it was an addition to latest version. Tables, default. Openconfig yank network instance. Basically, the whole config is here. No, I'm really interested. It returned to me like interfaces right now are also by default they return openconfig models. This was not the case before. So I clearly remember where you would do get config and you would get interfaces as native model. Now what, I'm going to copy the whole output. Well, ideally I would need to too hard. Let's do this with open config.xml Let's run this again and analyze it. I remember that when you were doing get config before, you were getting only a native model, but no open config model. This is some news for me actually. Okay, so we start with native model. Okay, fine. So boot file, blah blah blah, call home, all of the stuff, passwords, name servers, IP addresses, SSH. Okay, usual native model. Okay, now you have interfaces. Interesting. You have interfaces. Well, this is what something I remember from before. This is part of the native model. Now we scroll. Look at here. Here is the native ends. Okay. Then you have a licensing model, which is separate. But then you have an openconfig model where you I'm not sure about those filter lists. Okay, you have those access lists as openconfig model. Then you have interfaces where you have interfaces and you have subinterfaces separately. This is actually really good. Yeah, as I already told 5 times, I didn't know about this before, but it's pretty convenient, especially with interfaces, for example, right? The native model have interfaces and subinterfaces as part of the same tree. Here you have subinterfaces are basically a nested attribute of some interface, which is pretty cool, I think. Then you have an index, all the stuff. I'm actually now thinking if I should go ahead and try adding some sub-interface using openconfig model. That would be pretty cool, actually. Okay, that's cool. I will save this for now. There is also this seems like a routing table though. VRFs. I like this. Static routes in openconfig model. Yeah. Okay, cool. I should start exploring openconfig more now. Let me see if there are some comments in the chat. Sorry, Othak Muffin, I almost missed all of your messages. You can look through the dig thing. Yeah, well, I don't need to look, I needed a specific host. Is result error return none. I don't know. I think that's true. Never seen that. I'm going to install Gnet 3 on my Intel NUC. Yeah, that's a good idea. Obviously, you'll still need images, but it's a good use case for NUC. Okay. So we are finished with this part. I already see that we will not be able to write any VMware stuff today, but that's right. It's not like I am in a hurry somewhere. We still have like 40 minutes left, maybe like 45, since I also want to wrap up, get some food before the OpenAI stream. So, but we still have time. So far I am actually pretty satisfied with what we have. I mean, obviously we didn't write a lot of code, but sometimes you don't have to write a lot of code. Sometimes you just have to figure out how to do it. I'm thinking I will definitely implement two more things. I will implement edit and get. So we need two more things. We need NETCONF get, and we need edit config. I will start with edit config, or maybe get. I don't know. Let's do with get actually. Get is, it will be just curious what it says in the result reference. Oh damn. So let's look on the arguments for get. So get RPC filter. Okay, get always applies on running, config, and device state. Filter specifies. Okay, it's almost the same except of will not have source. So it will be something like this. And something like this, pretty straightforward. So we will not have source. We will need, yeah, I would like to try this. So let's go to I always lose my file here, so I don't need this. Let's also have a function called prettify XML, which will take XML. I can do XML data XML. And this will return minidom parse string data XML to pretty XML. Okay, so here I can say prettify XML. Boom. Cool. So this will be config. Okay, this next part I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say result is equal CSR dev run task is equal to netconf get. Here I don't have source, but I am going to provide filter unresolved reference netconf get. Yes. NetConf get. This looks good. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so we have to provide filter. I always forget how to do these filters. I think I need an example. Do you have an IPv6 at home? Yes, I do. Okay, this is not helpful. I think 1 year ago I had something in my Cisco CSR presentation. Let me find it. 2449. It's good to have links to your Cisco Live presentations because you know what exactly you can find there. I think I'm pretty sure I was using filter. Oh, right here. So I was using get and I was using filter sub3. Why it's a tuple? Okay, if filter is not known, not append util build filter filter. Okay, let's go to that function. In C client operations util, C client operations util, build filter. Where is this? Oh, here. Spec and cap check. If is instance spec tuple, like I have here type criteria filter type, if type xpath. Oh, okay, yeah, correct. So here if I have sub3, then I am putting this to the XML, blah blah blah, validated element, spec filter, qualify filter. I have no idea what these functions are doing. Okay then, let's do this. I'm thinking what I should extract. Let's say I'd like to extract only boot level information. Okay, so I will actually do two things. So I would like to extract this from native model. I would like to extract boot system, boot file, file name list. Okay. So let's try to do it if we didn't have this file. I mean, if you have this file, it's very easy to build. But if we didn't have this file, then it would be a little bit more challenging. So, okay. So boot file filter. Okay. So boot file filter, let's do it like differently. We go to I think projects, forks, public, others. Yes, it's right here. Yank, git pull. Oops, a lot of megabytes of yank models. Okay, so we need to go to vendor, Cisco XC 16.8.1. Okay, all of the models we are looking for Pyank F3. Actually, I will regret this. I will regret this very much. S6C native. Yeah, it's a big model. It doesn't really make sense to do it even on CLI. It's just huge. I'm excited though to see all these openconfig models. So we are looking for, okay, Cisco CSR native, blah 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 here. So native boot system boot file name list. Okay, so let's try to build it. So it all starts with native. We have to provide namespace. So I guess something like this. Okay. Okay, next level is boot this will be system okay, next level is boot file. So boot file and file name list. File name list, and we can do it like here. Now what we need to do is provide a namespace. So this will be cat grab namespace. So we need to copy this part, and we have our filter. So now we have to provide our filter, which will be here sub3 and boot file filter. We will say boot file list, boot files, boot file string, boot file XML. It's going to be prettify XML, similar thing. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So config result boot file XML prettify XML done. Okay, so let's just print this. There's additional things that I would like to try. I would like to say show VTY, show line. So I have a bunch of lines configured. I'm looking for first if we are going to see like use of the new line and if the line is going to be released as well. Okay, so let's try. Incorrect folder. Cannot import name netconf edit config. Right. Because there is no edit config. Nornir object has no attribute dev. Oh, okay. So main, instead of, I feel like it's all started, let's write a new connection plugin for Nornir, but now I feel like let's explore NC client more. There is nothing wrong with this, but still kind of funny. Okay. So unfortunately, actually, this doesn't make any sense. I'm an idiot though, because here it should be get. Okay. Steer object is no attribute. Okay, so you see that actually we crashed 2 times, right? So previous time we crashed and this time we crashed. However, well, it depends. I'm not sure if CSR actually updating this list properly, but actually it does. You see, even though we crashed, damn it, I'm all over the place today. Even though we crashed 2 times here, well, the first time we crashed here, second time we crashed here, you can see that there are no VTY lines consumed right now because the connection was properly closed, even though there was crash. Okay, I think this is pretty important thing. That's why I'm using here, well, that's why we implemented it in the first place, but that's also why I'm using this vis init nornir SNR, so that whenever either this block finishes or there is an exception, it goes ahead and closes all existing connections, which is very important thing to do, especially if you are automating like tens of thousands of devices. If you somewhere will not close connection, after the new rerun you will find a problem. So very important to use something like this. Okay, so now I think I fixed most of the problems. Let's give it a go another. Let's give it another go. Let's see. And here we go. So here we have our tree for the NetConf. Okay, so we just got this part where I have the boot file. I'm also thinking I would like to get some operational statistics, but I'm not sure what will be a good what we can extract. I think we could try memory statistics, for example, or we can try openconfig. I'm not sure if there is anything operational in openconfig. I haven't really followed, but let's try maybe what, RIP? No, it should not be BGP. Routing policy, no. Network instance, maybe. Maybe here, I am not sure, but let's try. I'm looking for something that says RO. Oh, actually you have here RO state. I'm curious if openconfig is actually has good documentation. Config documentation. Okay. This wasn't what I was okay, FAQ, no. Okay, this is very old stuff. I hope that on Git I will have some good link. A month ago, 8 months ago. You gonna be kidding me. Wow. This is a state of network automation today. So, you know, like I heard so many, well, I heard a lot about openconfig, right? And I know some kind of background behind openconfig. And everybody is like, oh, openconfig is like way to go. Okay. And don't get me wrong, this is just an example what I'm going to say right now, but if it's supposed to be the way, right, and like multi-vendor and all this stuff, you go to website, right, you go to website here and you like, oh, okay, let me try looking for docs, right, and I clicked on this first 3 links, let's say on third one, right, it has here 4 Wi-Fi models, right, like, okay, here this picture is a little bit better, it actually was updated this month. You go here for an HTML representation, click here, 502. You go to GitHub page, and this is really like the best page that is out there, just describing what exactly is in the model. Model defining configuration operational state. Okay, this is fine, but I would really like to have some kind of like web page or something where I could browse the whole model, to have a description, what is that. And when I see stuff like this, it kind of saddens me. It's not really like I'm trying to say that openconfig is bad. No, it's about the state of the whole. I would say it's the state of the whole industry. When I say the whole industry, I don't mean networking, I mean network programmability, right? It's like there is a lot of hype. There are people doing some stuff, sometimes cool stuff, sometimes it's also kind of like just cool demos that doesn't really work. That's true, but there are no best practices. Documentation is horrible. And again, this is not about openconfig, it's about the whole industry in general. And you know, you're trying to learn these new different things, they're changing so fast, docs are not up to date, you don't really know where would be a good investment of your time, right? And this is something that saddens me. Obviously with time it will get better, but it is what it is, right? Okay, so enough lyrics, let's try to get something useful here. So Model defining configuration operational state of layer 2 and layer 3 forwarding engine. Okay, this seems like a correct model, but it's quite big actually. Protocols, VLANs, connection points, tables. No, I don't want to pull openconfig. I will pull something like access lists maybe. LA grep opera. I'll pull some native model. Okay, so one choice is we can pull like a platform software model, which will be like CPU and memory statistics. IPv6 opera, I don't know what it means. Interfaces opera. I think we can pull this as well. Payang F3. This is also a new model. I haven't seen it before. It's yeah. Oh, this actually looks cool. Let me pull this up. Packet drops and a lot of cool stuff. Statistics, errors, stuff like that. Awesome. I'm going to pull this one. So what I have to do, I have to say, well, I'm going to pull interfaces, but I also need to specify the proper namespace. So this is going to be Payang. No, it's going to be cat grep namespace. Okay. So let's do another one. Interfaces int stats filter. Okay. So this will be easy. This will be interfaces xlmns. This. And I actually can open and close it. So this is this part. Let's replicate the whole thing and let's say result blah blah blah. This will be int stats filter, boot file XML int stats XML, and then we are going to print this. Hopefully. Okay. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Depend from Python main py. Perfect. Okay, let's take a look. That's awesome. So we have this opera model name, subinterface. Well, this one is not interesting because subinterface doesn't have packets. Something like here. This is, you know what? Let me pull up device first. So this will be show interfaces, right? Okay, there are some packets on virtual power group, some packets here. The majority of packets should be on gigabit 1, since this is a management interface, how I'm accessing the device. So, okay, let's actually look on the first. Let's actually pull up only the first interface. So interfaces name. Okay. I could also try doing XPath, but I already forgot how to do XPath. I am not sure this will work the way I want it to work. You know what, guys? I will do it the easier way, I think. I mean, this one is not really, this stream is not really about NetConf, so I think I will just go easier way. So we would need to do like this, and so interfaces, and then interface, and then name. No, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is incorrect. This is going to pull only interface name, which is useless. I really need the XPath filter for this one. str object is no attribute. Did I do something wrong here? Interface is upper, interface name. Oh, okay. Oh no, actually it did it fine. Yeah, actually it did it fine. Okay, so I have here just gigabit 1, I have last change, MAC address, speed, I have number of input output packets, there is some QS stats, so if you have like QS policy applied, you will be able also to see drops here. Wow, Fox really added a lot of cool models, operational models in 16.8.1. I didn't know about this. This seems like a really solid list. So spanning tree upper model. This one I don't remember. Interfaces upper model. This one was not present. Environment I don't remember. Access list, there was access list before. Device hardware upper. This one also, I think F3. Device hardware inventory, device hardware data. Oh, this is parsed version of show inventory. Isn't this great? Let's actually do this as well. So say inventory filter, so this is going to be device hardware data. You'll open to this, and now we have to provide XLMNS. So cat this grep namespace. Okay. Okay, and let's repeat this pattern again. So subtree, this is going to be inventory filter, and then inventory XML, and then print it, inventory XML. So let's go ahead and do this as well. Nice. And there is one thing that bothers me, which is this software version. I really want parsed software version. I don't want this, I want parsed software version, but other than this, I have serial number of my device, part number, not RP, ESP, physical memory. I have information about my hypervisor. Wow, they even included this there as well. That's good. Yes, this part is something that I really would like to have with like 16.8.1 or something, 16.1a, because this is just a string. Okay, cool. So we are now able to use getConfig and get. There is it's already 12 p.m. Pacific, so this stream, OpenAI stream, will start in 30 minutes. We will go ahead and implement one additional part, which is edit config, and then we will wrap up for today. Okay, so edit config is very similar. Let's go ahead and check their docs. Well, not docs, just code. NC client operations, edit config RPC. Target is the name of configuration data store to being edited. Config. So target is candidate. So config is obligatory parameter. Everything else is optional. Default operation. Merge replace none. Oh wow! I didn't know you can do operation here as well. Top level operation. That's cool as well. Test option. Error option, stop on error, continue on error. Okay, so this one should be pretty straightforward. So we need a config, which is config is a configuration which must be rooted in the config element. It can be specified either a string or a class XML. We will add only string here. So this will be config, and this is going to be configuration rooted in the config element. Edits configuration using NETCONF uses NC client as a backend. Okay. This looks good to me, so edit, and now config is equal to config. Config is equal to config and keyword arguments. That's pretty much it here. Super straightforward. Good, so I have here edit config. Now we just can go ahead and use it. So we go to our main py file. Let's do this. I would like to really construct the openconfig interface, subinterface thing. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. This should be. I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I'm going to take result XML that we generated, config XML. I'm going to find gigabit. Let's do openconfig. Openconfig, blah blah blah, access list, interfaces. So I would like to copy this part. This part we have to copy, and well, kind of. I need this part. Let's do sub interface openconfig. So it should start with config. Okay. interfaces, okay, let's continue. So config XML. So now we have to find gigabit Ethernet 3, and I would like to do subinterface. So we need to put this part, name config subinterfaces, okay, now here we have to get one of the subinterfaces, let's say 10 100 main and damn it. So index the 200, name 200, enable true. We don't need nested XLMNS. We don't need IPv6. I would like to have a description. For some reason I don't hear music anymore. No, it's actually there. Okay, so openconfig interfaces. So Payang F3 subinterfaces index config description. So description is string, so it's going to be here. Description. This is, let's say, configured live on the stream. Here we'll change some IP address. Okay, and let's say 32. And VLAN subinterface will be 200. Again, we don't need namespace here. Okay, so config open and close interfaces, open and close interface, name and subinterfaces. Okay, this looks good to me. Let's go ahead here and let's say show IP interface brief. So I don't have gigabit 3 200, so we have to go ahead and configure, and here we are going to say print result. There will be no real result here, so edit config. There will be no filter. There will be config is equal to config, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, okay. NETCONF edit config. Okay, Good. So let's go ahead and run this. No. No. So somehow it says nope. So yeah, I didn't do something correctly. Oh, yes, I can see now what I did incorrectly. Unsupported capability candidate. Oh, okay. I have to also say target is equal to running, because default is candidate, and right now there is no candidate data store. What has happened? Type application, null element, subinterface, OC index 200, OC name, subinterface index 200. Interesting. Pretty much copied the whole thing. Okay, I have one small suspicion that maybe this part actually is important. I don't think it should be, but just to be safe. So IPv4 here, then IPv6 no, and then VLAN. Oh, and there is also this Ethernet something. No, this doesn't matter. So this part as well. So for VLAN. Okay. Subinterface 200, index 200, gigabit 3 200, configured live on the stream. Some IP addresses, blah blah blah. Okay, let's go ahead and try this. If this doesn't work, we'll do the same thing using native model. Please work, please work, please work, please work. Please. Damn it. Device refused one or more commands. Okay, we're almost out of time, but I can't wrap up the stream until we get this working. So, okay, here we go. Okay, 200, 200, 65, 11, mask 255. Okay, this part is fine, and I think it all should wrap up via the interfaces. Interface. Yeah, it should be native. It should be native and interface. Okay. Native interface okay, it doesn't want to have two spaces, whatever. And let's also try the description here. Description. This will be configured live on the stream. Okay. Indentation contains mixed ups and spaces. Whatever. Okay, so okay, this part seems fine. Subinterface native config. Let's go ahead and try this again. Okay, moment of truth. Could you please work? Damn it. Doesn't want to work. Okay. Here is CSR example. No, this is older version of NetConf. This is not good enough. Maybe here. No, this is also older version. This is also NetConf over SSH, something that was available since iOS 12.4, I think. Native XMS interface, gigabit Ethernet. This seems fine to me. But somehow this is not accepted. I'm almost willing to drop this and just to do hostname configuration. You know what? Let's do hostname. I want to have a win here. So hostname native. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Basically, it's hostname. Say CSR dev stream hostname, and we'll copy paste this. We'll comment this out, and we will say the hostname native config target running. Okay, if this is not going to work, I'm like, WTF is going on here? And we received a reply Woohoo! We received a reply. Okay, which is good. So now if you go to the device and I do it, I see here CSR dev stream. Yes, nice. So something still is not working here. Maybe, I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay, I'm going to try this one last time. Maybe there was a problem with description, but let me see. Please work. Device refused one or more commands. Doesn't really show what exactly failed there. Inconsistent values, so something it doesn't like in my values. I do not see what exactly, but one last try. If not, we have at least hostname configured this way. What has just happened? I just changed mask, then it worked. Wow. So it was mask all along. Damn it, Dmitry. Oh, right. Okay, I see why. This is /24. I think it's /24. There was some collision, so you can't use a /32 there because it was already taken. Okay, you know what? Since that worked, I'm ready to try to give it another try. So I'm going to uncomment this part, and we will leave, let's say 24 here, blah blah blah, configured live on the stream. I removed show IP interface brief. Well, it's deleted now. So if you know what, I'm going to create a new one. 3 configured live on the stream, 67, let's say 67. Okay, good. Subinterface openconfig. Let's go ahead and try this. Okay. I think actually VLAN was in 3 places. Yeah, VLAN was also here. 333. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. So if I go to my device, show IP interface brief. Now I see my new sub interface. Let's do show interface description. Now I say configured live on the stream. Yes. So it was just problem with mask. My XML was just fine. Perfect. Okay. We are almost, well, we are out of time. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions while I will be doing a quick summary. So on this stream we had we were writing a new connection plugins for Nornir. I showed you how to do it from the very beginning, as well as I also explained some motivation behind some of the decisions that David and the team did for the new upcoming release of Nornir 2.0. I also showed to you that it's actually quite simple to do. Once you kind of like figure out all the pieces, here for example I copy paste it from NetMiko and I just replaced a couple of things here and there. This is what I did. The same thing here, I just added a new plugin, and the same way here with NetConf I did config, get config, and get config. Again, I copy paste from NetMiko and I just adjusted it just a little bit to get it working. And as a result, we implemented one connection plugin, which is NetConf connection plugin, as well as we implemented a couple of actual tasks: edit config, get, and get config. We also went ahead and tested them directly on our CSRs that I have in my lab, and all of them were working. We were mixing native model, openconfig model, and all of that was working just fine. And that's pretty much it for today. I'm still thinking what will be the topic of the next stream. I do have a couple of ideas. One idea is to explore ENMS. This is a new NMS system written in Python. Looks very interesting and actually quite beautiful as well. So check it out. Just Google Python ENMS. I'm thinking if I should do that. If I should write, I think I feel try to implement asynchronous tasks in Nornir. This is the second option. Third option is just to show you some kind of, well, a little bit of web development with Python. So we could kind of like have a button on the web page, like do something on my network device, like get interfaces or something. You press this button, it's invoking either NetMiko or Nornir or NetConf, whatever that is. It's returning result back and then puts this into the onto the web page. So I could show to you guys how to do web development with something like Django, for example. Enable, disable interfaces on devices, switch port interfaces. Using NetConf, it's actually quite simple as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I want to have another stream about NetConf in the nearest future, unfortunately. There is not a lot to it. Oh, disable interfaces on devices via web. Yeah, we can do that. Why not? Yeah, it seems like a good idea. Thanks. So yeah, I right now have these three ideas. Probably at some point in time I'm going to explore every one of those. I just didn't figure out which one I want to do next. Let me know, guys, what you think about the previous streams, this stream, about the future of this Twitch channel as well. Really would like to hear some feedback. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for being with me here today. And I hope you have a great afternoon. And I would like to see you as well on OpenAI stream. If you are interested in the topics, that would be awesome. So thank you very much, guys, and until next Sunday. Take care. Bye, everyone.